Are you wondering which supplements you should take when following the Mediterranean diet? In this video, you'll learn if and which supplements might be right for you while following this dietary pattern. Make sure to stay tuned till the end, where I'm going to be sharing with you my bonus thoughts, and this might save you quite a bit of money. Hey there, I'm Dr. Anna. I'm a medical doctor. I was trained in Italy, and on this channel, you are going to learn how to master the Mediterranean diet. So we need to clear up something very important right from the start. In our Western culture, I don't really know how it happened, but we've kind of gotten this idea that using supplements is an essential part of a healthy diet. Well, I want you to understand something. Supplements, it doesn't matter if they're vitamins or minerals, are really only going to give any benefit if you're already deficient in that thing, or if your diet is not supplying it, meaning you would be deficient if you weren't supplementing. If you have enough of that nutrient in the body, it's just not going to do anything. So keep that in mind as I start breaking down for you my top supplements that you might want to consider when following the Mediterranean diet. So here's number one. Vitamin D. Now, a lot of you might already know that the number one source of vitamin D is the sun. And in reality, the Mediterranean lifestyle that is enjoyed by the cultures surrounding the Mediterranean Sea get a lot of sunshine, and sunshine throughout most of the year. So typically, people living in this region are not too concerned of getting dietary sources of vitamin D because they are spending a lot of time in the sun anyway. But those of you watching might be sprinkled all over the globe, and you might not live in a place that has a lot of sun year round. And even if you do, you might not be spending a lot of time in the sun. So if you're living somewhere that's further north or south, or it's just winter wherever you are and the sun is shining fewer hours in the day, you might want to talk to your doctor about including a vitamin D supplement, because it just so happens that the sun is not available to you at that time. But there are, in fact, dietary sources of vitamin D as well. First of all, a lot of foods are often fortified, which means supplemented in, that we can buy in the grocery store. So often milk or even non-dairy milks, typically manufacturers are going to be fortifying them with vitamin D because milk is, in fact, a great source of vitamin D. But I do want to point out that in general on the Mediterranean diet, dairy consumption is de-emphasized. It is still included. Often dairy is coming in the form of certain cheeses, so that could be Parmesan, that could be feta cheese, and it's usually just sprinkled on top of a dish like a garnish, or maybe it's put into a sauce. It could also be in the form of yogurt, but again, this is not something people are going to be eating at every single meal. Don't be worried, because we do have plenty of non-dairy sources of vitamin D, such as certain fish that are very abundant in the Mediterranean diet, like mackerel, salmon, or trout. And if you want to learn more about fish that are included in the Mediterranean diet, I have a great video for you. By the way, if this video is useful for you, or if you're learning something new, I want you to go ahead and smash that subscribe button. Now, what's supplement number two? Well, that would be calcium. One of our main sources of calcium in the diet happens to also contain vitamin D, which are dairy products. Now, as I mentioned before, dairy is de-emphasized in the Mediterranean diet, but fret not, because there are tons of other sources of calcium that you can get from plant foods. Some of the main ones are beans, like a white bean or a chickpea. In the Mediterranean region, they eat a lot of hummus, which is a paste that is made out of chickpeas, as well as sesame seeds, which are often made into tahini. And then there's some other beans like soybeans, and then soybean products. So tempeh, which is like a fermented soybean, or a tofu, some animal products like eggs, salmon, sardines, and then some vegetables and fruits. So there are leafy greens like collard greens and kale, spinach, okra, turnip greens. Then dried figs are surprisingly a very good source of calcium. Now, my third supplement for you to consider when following the Mediterranean diet is a B12 supplement, with this caveat. So B12 comes from animal foods, so they could be the animals themselves, like meat, poultry, or fish, or animal products like eggs or dairy. In general, the Mediterranean diet definitely includes animal foods and products. Often fish and seafood are incorporated more so than meat or poultry. Both food groups are absolutely included in the Med diet, as well as eggs and things like yogurt, cottage cheese, ricotta, Parmesan cheese, feta cheese, you get the idea. But if you're not somebody who wants to be eating a lot of animals or animal products, it might be a good thing to consider including a vitamin B12 supplement in your diet. And that's not necessarily specific to the Mediterranean diet approach. That's true for any vegetarian or vegan. But talk to your doctor if you're really wanting a bit more of specific advice that's tailored to you. And speaking of talk to your doctor, I suggest that any of you, if you're curious about including any supplements in your diet, ask your doctor what they think. There are some supplements that are completely harmless, like a vitamin C supplement. It's a water-based molecule, and you really can't overdo it with vitamin C because once your body has enough in it, it's just gonna break it down and it'll come out in your urine. But that's not true of every type of supplement. Some vitamins are fat-based molecules, vitamins A, D, E, and K, and it is possible to take too much of those. So if you're concerned or have any questions at all, I recommend you talk to your physician. Okay, now my fourth supplement that a lot of you are probably wondering about because it is talked about so much are fish oil supplements. And as this Cleveland Clinic article that I have linked for you below states, the evidence on fish oil supplements is a bit fishy. The thing is, fish oil contains really healthy fats like omega-3 fatty acids, which I talk about in this video over here. And these are a very healthy component of eating fish. And some people don't like the taste of fish, so it makes sense to take the oil, which is the part of the fish that contains the nutrient omega-3, and just put it into a supplement. But the problem is that a lot of research done on this is not been able to link the consumption of fish oil supplements with specific health outcomes, meaning a lower risk of any specific diseases. There are some studies that say it does, other studies that say it doesn't do anything. I'm going to let you decide what you want. I am very food focused and food forward in my thinking about health and nutrition. If there's any discrepancy, meaning any question, I'm definitely going to recommend that somebody eat food sources containing that nutrient before I'd recommend them go running to the supplement store, spending extra money to try to get that thing. That said, it is possible that some people cannot include foods that have certain nutrients in their diet, and they are going to want to get supplements. So if somebody says they dislike fish, they can't stand the smell, they can't stand the taste, and I totally get that because fish is very stinky. Well, that's okay. Maybe let's talk about some other sources of omega-3 fatty acids, like some plant sources, such as flax seeds, chia seeds, or walnuts. And as a last resort, if somebody cannot include any foods that contain a certain nutrient, that would be a time to consider a supplement. I have to ask though, what supplements are you taking in your diet? Comment and share below. And how long have you been taking them? Where did you first get the idea for them? Share with our community of healthy eaters so maybe we can understand a little bit more about what other people are doing in their dietary practices that might be useful for us to know. And by the way, if this video is useful for you so far, go ahead, hit that like button and consider sharing this with a couple of friends or family members that you think could benefit from learning more about health and nutrition. So now, if I've piqued your interest for how you can maximize getting your nutrition from food sources rather than supplements, it sounds like you're ready to start learning the Mediterranean diet for absolute beginners. And you'll want to dig into the breakdown of exactly what you need to know to get started today. Very simple steps. And luckily for you, I got that over here.